And three, two, one, start. We're back here at the desk. Welcome to the Tyler Fischer Show. We are back at the war zone, the hot desk. There's just too much going on to be on the couch this week. So, first of all, Happy New Year. Cheers to... There you are. Come here. Cheers. Happy 2022, or as Joe Biden likes to call it, the 2020. You know, it's just 2020, folks. Things have changed. I remember when the tractor was invented, the wheel, back in 1997, but now it's 2020. Forget it, guys. No politics. No politics today. You know, in fact, I went to a Shabbat dinner last night. Am I saying that right? Shabbat? Frankly, it was a Jewish gathering, and I said, maybe they think I'm one of them from the long beard and the short height. But I went to a Shabbat dinner, Shabbos, and happy Shabbos. No, there was a rule, no politics and no COVID talk. That was a rule at the door. You had to agree to that. And I was a little upset because I'm like, what else are we going to talk about? And then we had plenty of other things to talk about, like the flu and colds. No, it was fantastic. A nice break from all that stuff. It was a no cell phone rule, no cell phones, no COVID, no politics, no talking about race, no talking about gender. No, that was the Google stand-up comedy show I did for Google. Can't talk about race, okay? No jokes about politics, okay? No jokes about women. What? Boy, did I bomb that day on Zoom. Those were the good times, weren't they? Back in the year 2000. I think I'd rather take my own life than do Zoom stuff again. If I'm being honest. I'm sorry if anybody out there is Zoom forward with their job. That's a tragedy. But I hope you had a good New Year and New Year's Eve. Do you guys do anything? Are you New Year's Eve people? I used to get really stressed out and depressed about that because what a stupid idea to put that kind of pressure on like the first day of the year to be like the most awesome day of the year. And then where do you go from there? So I say start low and slow. You want to start, I don't know. Maybe you want to start really strung out and depressed and alone. And then you go, you know what? The next day I felt a little better. I saw a friend. Things are really looking up this year. In 2020. Yeah. And the thing. To do Biden, you really just got to keep your... It's like you want to be as much of a corpse as possible. He doesn't really move his mouth much. I got that. It's just kind of like that. He's kind of like the South Park, like the Canadian characters. I got to do the thing. But New Year, I like the New Year. I like the new arbitrary time period where you can reset. I'm very pro any time to reset, not even reset, but maybe rinse, maybe a quick rinse and a. This is why I'm not that's why I'm not a career coach. You just got to reset and regroup, But you have a chance to, yes, reset is fine, and I've gotten in the habit of, I used to watch this guy, one of these, motivational speaker types. And he said, you should pick one big goal for the year. And if you accomplish that one goal, then that you can say that was a kick-ass year. And it simplified it for me, rather than making all of these lists of things, which don't do that on the first. Start to slowly implement those things throughout the year. Don't dump it all. You don't want to do a big dump. So one goal for the whole year,
and then you can break it down by month. Really simple, you know. So mine, I'll share mine. Mine was to write a screenplay or to write a series. So, you know, it could be a web series or a scripted series that's the thing. These things are so like fluid now, you know, like it could be a movie, it could be a series, it could be 5,000 TikToks broken up, combining into a series. So that's my one goal. And so I decided to start it on New Year's Eve rather than waiting. My gift to myself was actually sitting down and writing, starting to plan a script, coming up with ideas. What do I want the script to be about? That way, New Year's Day begun, and I already had a little juice going there. And I haven't worked on it since, but that doesn't matter. That's not what I'm here to talk about. No, I have. Stop. Come on, put myself down. Come on. You know, this is what happens. You're around Jews all night. You start putting yourself down. You know, maybe I'm in the wrong career. You know, I don't know. That woman I'm dating, maybe she's a man. It's so confusing. The mask and the fluidity and the shaved head, and she had a mustache and some sort of package in between her legs. It's just not adding up. It's not adding up. And I went home on New Year's Eve after performing, and I'll get to that. I did stand-up comedy at a wedding in Times Square on New Year's Eve. What a world. So I went home after that and I watched Manhattan. That was my New Year's Eve. I didn't drink. I didn't do drugs. I did a little fentanyl, but is that a drug at this point? 100,000 deaths a year and no one talks about it, so might as well be Advil at this point. And I watched Manhattan, which is Woody Allen's film in black and white about him dating a 17-year-old. But he dated an older woman as well. I think that balanced it out a little bit, Diane Keaton. But, you know, I'm just sort of in this suave, slightly neurotic, but oddly overconfident sort of mentality right now. You know, he's a bit of an oddball, a bit of a mousy character, but he still seems to pull in the ladies. So I'm in that zone. I've been watching a lot of these Woody Allen films and where he's like a hopeless romantic and, you know, funny and witty and dating all these hot chicks. And he was casting, you know, with all due respect, he was writing these roles and casting them for the women. And then he'd often go on to date them. But I've been feeling really suave, you know. I'm in the zone, you know, texting girls, being like, you know, you're a real knockout, you know, you're a real swell, you're a swell dame, and I'd like to get a look at those gams, you know. Where are you going? They always leave. Let's talk about this New Year's Eve show, because it was a hoot and a holler. And I'm going to now be putting like a mini series up on Patreon where I put like my best of stand-up shows. So if I go and tour, I put part of my Texas set up, part of my Boston set, and now up on Patreon is going to be this wedding show. So I don't know the people. I don't know if they're fans of mine. I think I was replacing somebody who canceled. There were supposed to be 100 people at the wedding, and I'm doing 1 hour of material. And, you know, I'm talking to these guys about the wedding gig, and finally, you know, I go, well, I'll see you there. And one guy goes, well, I won't be there. I'm going, well, who's this guy? And then he goes, I'm going to pass you on to this other guy. And he goes, yeah, I won't be there either. It all came to sense. It all came to make sense. I arrive. 90 people canceled because of the Omicron. Omicron. What are you doing to me? You make my life difficult. 10 people were there. 10 soldiers. Minus the groom and the bride, we're looking at 8 or 9. So here, this is, I'm just going to show you the scene, right? I'm like, and I'm getting juiced up. I'm going to do an hour. There's going to be 100 people, and It's going to be amazing, and the ball's going to drop right on my final crescendo joke, because my performance was from 11 to 12. So, I'm building my last joke, and then the ball 10, 9, and boom, I hit the punchline, and then a bunch of women have sex with me on the ball as it's going down. And now I'm in Times Square doing my jokes as the ball's coming down. And then I walk in the room, and this is what I walked into. All right, here in old Manhattan, New York. Absolutely disgusting subway right here. A guy spit on somebody, somebody passed out. But here we are, the Lexington Hotel. Stand up for a bunch of people I never met. They're probably hammered. It's 11 p.m. on New Year's Eve. All right, wish me luck.
Let's go. Comedian. He's coming up next.
Don't blow it. Don't blow it. All right, I'm the groom.
So,
Don't put
he's right here.
And then I was pacing around a bit, wondering what the hell I was going to do. And then the bride was like, I need to know the topics of all your jokes, and so I can approve them. I can't do that. I can't. This is right before I'm about to go on. I'm like, I can't do that. I'm going to do my jokes. I'll try to read the room, whatever this room is. And then it's like music just keeps playing. And then one of the bridesmaids pulls me onto the dance floor. Now I'm in a Congo line. Like, this is before I perform. I don't like to be seen before I perform. Like, you want to keep a little mystique. I like to come out and not interact much. And then the groom came out and pulled me aside and goes, hey man, you better not fuck this up. I think because he was probably feeling extra pressure because the night, I feel bad for them. And by the way, it was a wonderful night, and I'm so grateful for the job. So I don't want to come off like I'm shitting on them or the experience. I was grateful to be making money and start the new year working and making money and stuff. But that said, it was a bit of a nightmare. And so that's what I went on stage to, the groom going, hey man, I'm the groom. Seriously, don't fuck this up. I was like, oh my God. So I sit down. There's 10 people. The first 3 rows are empty. In the front row, there's one person who turns out to be a 15-year-old kid who's just, I would say, aggressively man-spreading in the front in a sweatsuit. The bride and groom, his kids, the bride's mom, the bride's aunt, who did not look at me the entire show. She just did this. And that's not something you want to see when there's 10 people. And then I discover, I didn't even realize, to my left was a 12-year-old boy in a mask with his dad. And I literally go, dude, I thought you were a 30-year-old woman, because quite frankly, that's what all of them look like in Brooklyn, New York. He had like the side of the head shaved, had a mask on, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I thought it was a woman. So then I start going down my list of jokes, and I start talking about something a little risque, and the bride she goes, next. Go, all right. So my penis, next. So there's a priest, next. So I'm going down. I'm almost out of jokes, and I'm 20 minutes in. I have like 30 or 40 minutes left. Sweating, absolutely sweating. I wouldn't care if I wasn't getting paid, but like when you get paid a pretty nice amount of money, a fair amount, nothing mind-blowing, enough to buy this new set background, you want to do well. So it ended up all working out. I stayed loose up there and present and made fun of everybody. And it was an Asian woman and a white guy. And so I walked into the show. Before I even go on, she goes, hey, you better not do a bunch of Asian jokes. And I took that as like she wanted me to. So then I started doing a bunch of Asian jokes, and that was great. So la di da, it was a lot of fun, and interesting way to bring in the new year. 2 wedding crashers were there as well. This like guy who looked like he was straight out of Austin Powers in like this 1970s Spy Who Shagged Me outfit, and they were trying to crash the wedding, and then I don't think they let them in. And then nobody showed up to the wedding, so we went in and invited the wedding crashers in. We go, we'd like you to come sit down at the show. So they joined as well. And that was that. And then I went home and watched a Woody Allen film. So, and now, just a quick break from our sponsor of today's episode. I am trying to work out again. I do not like weights. I've destroyed my body from overlifting. So I've got just the thing. This is Workout Wizard Live Online Fitness with Andre Turan. This is a no mask wearing anytime, anywhere online super fitness gym at your fingertips. Live programs for men and for women, everybody. Maybe animals too, we'll see. Workouts are tailored for you. You can even do these workouts with no equipment. That's my jam. I do push-ups, sit-ups, all sorts of cardio stuff. I do not like weights. Andre says, I've developed compound training systems that will build muscle, burn fat, and boost the metabolism while saving your joints. Andre will design a personalized program guiding you at every step of the way. You'll be motivated beyond your expectations and never feel judged, right? Just like here at the Tyler Fischer Show. The first 10 new subscribers signing up for group classes will receive 2 weeks absolutely free. Use code Tyler Fischer. If group classes aren't for you, no problem. You can try live, personal, micro fitness sessions that can take place anytime. Just want to lose weight? Join the 10-week live online fat loss program starting January 6th. So that's already going. For more info, go to workoutwizard.net. That's workoutwizard.net or email workoutwizard.net@yahoo.com. Let's get in shape. Let's get ripped. And then I'm shrinking here. I'm literally falling. I think that. Do you like the couch bet? Can you tell me, please, which you prefer? Because I just watched a clip from the couch. I look relaxed, Where do you want me? Tell me where you want me. So this was an interesting occurrence. I'm walking in the park. I talked about, the whole Christmas thing and having Christmas outside and all that stuff. So anyhow, my family seems to respect my choice, and I told them I respect their rules. But I'm walking in the park, and I get a text from my dad. This was after Christmas, or maybe on Christmas. And he said, "This article is about you." And the title of the article was, "Please get the vaccine and try to understand those who won't." And I look at it, I go, is he like negging me? Is like, this is about you, the hesitant animals. And I'm with my friend who goes, "Dude, don't read the text, man. He's probably, making fun of you or something." And I was like, I don't think it's not something he would do. So anyways, I finally opened the article, and the article was about me. This is in the Washington Post. This is no small town newspaper. I go, oh shit, I saw the first line and it said, "The comedian Tyler Fischer." I go, oh, it's actually about me. What is this going to be? Because that is a quite left-leaning newspaper, and from what I can tell, quite a woke bunch over there. So I go, all right, this will be interesting. So here's the article. So it says, "Leave it to Americans to spoof their scary disease du jour." Gag me already with that line. "Several viral videos have satirized the coronavirus and the vaccines and other woke adaptations in dark, if also hilarious ways. But the one that made me laugh out loud was Coming Next Year by comedian and viral content creator, yes, there's such a thing, Tyler Fischer." All right, pretty good. Pretty good. I recommend it for your sanity and edification. What better way to wrap up another dreary year with a humorous look at our increasingly absurd expressions of political correctness, or, in today's vernacular, wokeness. The coronavirus vaccine is just one of Fischer's targets. In brief, a guy trying to earn passage into an unidentified building must provide proof that he has submitted to a laundry list of government mandates. His proof of having received numerous booster shots consists of multiple band-aids crossing his arm and torso. Suffice to say, Fischer's view of the future is full of busyness attending to socially approved and government-enforced commandments and an inevitable loss of freedom. This slide into servitude begins with the vaccine and escalated with the various employment-based mandates that followed. Some people feel so strongly about not requiring a vaccine that the Supreme Court plans to hold a special hearing on January 7th. An atrocity, by the way. Very scary. I watched it. To consider the legality of the two White House initiatives to curb the pandemic. So, very sloppily written article. She's already onto another topic with no transition. So, blah, 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 blah. Then she, of course, has to announce what she has done. For the record, I'm all shot up. 2 vaccines and a booster. The first injection gave me a sore arm. The second kept me in bed for 10 hours. With my body ache suddenly ceased close to cocktail hour, I popped out of bed, said, "That was weird," and poured myself a glass of wine. The booster? Nada. Unreal. Good for you. Good for fucking you, using your platform to complain about your little cold. Okay, so yada 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 goes on and 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 on. And then here we are with our closing paragraph bringing it back to the beginning, which she had no transition out of. To the anti-vaccine contingent, a vaccine mandate is tantamount to a violation of one's autonomy. Our bodies, ourselves, is more than a book title. No one is entitled to enter my temple without my permission. Case closed. And yet, how can some of these people see the vaccine as a gift and others view it as a toxin contrived for dubious purposes? How do we bridge that gap? Whether we can be unified country again on any subject is a coin toss. Which is fucking bullshit, by the way. The country agrees on a lot of shit. A lot of shit. Most shit people actually agree on and can live with. But one thing we can agree upon is that laughter is good for the body and soul. To that end, Tyler Fischer, for one, has provided a public service. Laughing at oneself, after all, is a sign of intelligence. Sort of like voluntarily getting vaccinated against a disease nobody wants to get. Way to show your openness and curiosity to, and I quote, to quote the article again, please get the vaccine and try to understand who does not get it, and then have this backhanded, not even backhanded, front-handed insult at the end of the article. Laughing at oneself, after all, is a sign of intelligence. Sort of like voluntarily getting a vaccine against the disease. No, you fucking bitch. I posted that, and because I didn't read the article, I only read the first line where she was like, "It's a funny video," and I go, "Look at this, how nice!" The Washington Post, a real wokey news outlet is kind of waking up and laughing at that stuff, and I thought that's a really good sign. That's a really good sign because you could see an instance where they nail me for that, and you know what? Can I just say, praise Allah, because it is a miracle that my white privilege did not come up in this article. I really mean that. That is a fucking Christmas miracle, and this did come out on Christmas, I think. So she's part of the problem. Let's try to understand them and listen to them, and then call them morons. And by the way, laughing at oneself, after all, I'm not laughing at myself in this. I'm laughing at her and the people that are going to follow this to no end. So I give this article 0 stars. 1 pinky down. I mean, what a crock of shit. And she sounds like an alcoholic too, by the way. Right? Look at this. Victimhood here too. For the record, I'm all shot up. These terms are they make me cringe. I'm jabbed. I'm double, triple jabbed. Get a fucking life. The first injection gave me a sore arm. You remember when people used to go to war and run into fucking enemy lines while bullets were fucking blowing off their limbs? Watching their friends' fucking legs get blown off and jumping onto helicopters? This is our war. I had a sore arm. Grow up. She seems pretty old, actually. When my body aches suddenly... This is great, man. When my body aches suddenly ceased close to cocktail hour. No, it sounds like you're an alcoholic and you're like, actually, I can get up to drink. I popped out of bed and said, that was weird, and poured myself a glass of wine. Yeah, you're a poor writer and an alcoholic. So, fuck off. If you're gonna title an article like that and try to understand, then come to an understanding in the article. Don't insult everybody who didn't get vaccinated. All right, okay. Well, I don't care about press anymore, apparently. I used to like that. Here's a good article. Why don't we share this? There was a one good write-up here. So this is from, what is it? Hollywood Toto. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to just read press about me the whole episode. Why would I do that? Anyways, this is it's called Hollywood in Toto. It's this is a journalist, Christian Toto, who I've talked to many times on the phone. He's written articles about various things, and I almost said condemn. God, this is a morning episode, by the way. I don't have my brain with me, but he's calling out a lot of the woke hypocrisy in Hollywood, and not a lot of people, journalists, are. So I celebrate him and what he's doing. In fact, he flew all the way out to Montana to write up the progress of the movie I did. And so he wrote this article. I think it was called something like The Rebels of Comedy in 2021. Now, I was flattered because I was on this list, and on the list was people like J.P. Sears and Ryan Long and Rob Schneider and John Cleese, and people kind of calling out this stuff. And that's not my purpose here. It's good material and good stuff to make fun of. It's by no means my purpose to be like an anti-woke person or any of that stuff. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But it was flattering and cool to be on that list, and started a little text chain with Ryan Long and J.P. Sears, and just kind of it was just cool to be like, hey, this is cool, congratulations, guys, let's keep it up. I find myself suddenly in this circle of creators who are very prolific, very positive, very spiritually sound. And it's a nice antidote to what I've been around in the stand-up comedy scene. So I'm very grateful for that, and I think, yes, I feel quite comfortable in this group. Not that we're the fucking Beatles, and I know somebody told me not to do it. I said, don't do the impression anymore. I said, no more Beatles, and I said, Paul, you shouldn't do it. Your fans don't like it, so don't do it. I said, I won't do it. And Ringo's kind of like, what do we do? And I said, don't do it. The Beatles documentary, by the way, I loved it. But I would say you really should be a fan of the Beatles if you're going to watch it, because it's, I think, 700 hours long. And it's basically them just rehearsing songs. But the cool thing is you get to see them rehearse, all of these fucking worldwide classics. And they're just sitting there without knowing the words and like throwing in vegetable words like, imagine all the cauliflower, broccoli, carrots, peas, yoo-hoo! That's what they do, man. It's so cool to see how silly they are. They don't take any of this that seriously. And man, God, I fucking loved it. I'll probably watch it again. And they just had a lot of fun together. I was kind of blown away. You know, you see these and hear these songs in their final form, and then to get to see an hour-long, like, barely edited rehearsal session where they're coming up with, you know, Get Back and Don't Let Me Down, and man, so cool. Not a big fan of Disney Plus because they fired my friend Gina Carano, and I'm not happy with them, so I did not subscribe. I stole a password for the night. But they have this very odd way also of communicating. I think they knew each other since they were kids, so they were not very articulate when they were trying to express issues with each other and roadblocks with the song and the creation of the chords and the tune and where the song went. That was very odd. I don't know if anyone else caught that, but I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It was they have their own Beatles language. You know, Paul would come in and be like, you know, John, just I don't know what to do with this song. You know, I don't know what direction it's going in. It's sort of like, yeah, because it should be going like this. You know, like boom, right? No, Paul. No, it's really something more like a bibbidi dap dap a do. No, because you're sort of going like this. You know, now it's like this. It's got to going down like that, and then you're going to go up here. No, you just got to go like this. It's you know, kind of like a bit of a seal does like. And then Ringo's in the back going like, do I have to fucking be here? I'm the drummer. What am I doing here? No, you can go home. George, you can go home. Goodness, I just, do you know what I mean? I do. I'm saying something like that. I know what you're saying. I'm saying like this. And now and frankly, now it's like a little Beatles Trump thing going on. This is Trump and Paul McCartney mix, you know, just sort of like we're building back. We're going to do great things, making America great again, you know. What if Trump had a British accent? That'd be wild, wouldn't it? I guess that's basically Boris Johnson, really. Same hair, same flopping hair in the wind. But I think I have a mild obsession with the Beatles. Yeah, I would have been one of those fangirls for sure. It's just like, it's just so magical. It's so magical. The four of them, it's just this perfect, like, lightning in a bottle. They perfectly contrast each other, and they're very handsome, by the way. Very, very striking. You know, very, very, very exciting. And beautiful people. Well, new mayor, new year, new mayor. And it's quite an upset what's happening. Mayor Eric Adams is the new mayor, replacing Mayor Bill de Blasio, the worst mayor in the history of the world. And there's a new DA who has announced that he will not be prosecuting a laundry list of things he does not consider serious crimes. I believe on the list is armed robbery, and may not be a coincidence that the day after he starts working, I walk into my local cafe right after it was robbed at gunpoint, and the barista was sitting there shaking, completely freaked out. Cops came and basically said nothing we could do about it. So there you have it. It's not going to get better. It's going to get a hell of a lot worse. And, you know, thank God I have an espresso machine now. I don't have to go to the cafe. But man, this is my local spot. I go to this place every day. It's this cute little quaint spot. Daylight. Broad daylight. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, robbed at gunpoint. Now, here was the issue. I was going to do the Anthony Kumia show, and I stopped off to get myself a cortado. A cortado? It's an espresso, a little bit of water, a little bit of milk. You know what I'm talking about. Actually, there's no water in it. Now, I'm late for the show, and I have just enough time to get this cortado and get on the subway. I don't do well being on a talk show or any podcast without caffeine. So I'm quite dependent on getting this espresso. Now, the problem is this barista had just been robbed at gunpoint. And I thought, how do I gingerly say, can we get a coffee going here? It was tough because I had to console her because she just thought she was going to be murdered. And that can't be fun for anybody. And so it was a complete Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm moment because I was like, oh my God, the gun to your head. Oh my God. In our neighborhood, this is, man. And you're still working. You're still at work. I can't believe that. Yeah, my boss said I should stay. Wow. Maybe right back there. Maybe a little cortado. Maybe a little cortado. Okay. So that was an awkward moment. But I got the damn cortado and got on the Anthony Kumia show. And it was a good time, man. If you've never seen the show, Opie and Anthony was a radio show. They were like, I guess, considered these shock jocks. And never heard of them or listened to them, but looked that up after I'd gone on the show a few times. People were like, dude, you know who that is? I go, no, it's a guy with a podcast. So it's fucking Anthony Kumia. He's had this, famous show. And what's great is he has his own media company. So when I go on the show, you can kind of say whatever the fuck you want. It's really, it's like basically it's a fantasy of living in the 90s again. And he has kind of a very 90s vibe. He feels like your uncle in the 90s. That's the Anthony Kumia vibe. So it was a real treat to go on there and really say whatever the fuck I want. Whatever the fuck I want. Which you can't do on a show like, let's say, NPR. Now I gotta go on Fox News and Anthony Kumia to be able to tell jokes as I see fit. I believe a study just came out. And NPR, I really stopped listening to it when it was just nonstop virtue signaling and white shaming and all that stuff. And turns out Fox News has more minority viewers, by numbers, of course, but also by percentage, total percentage, than NPR, which is just hilarious. But it's like every single segment, you go, do they just have a big bucket of these woke virtue signaling words, and then they just scoop them up and just tape them on the wall and read them? That's what the show is. That's what the show is. Every single episode. Good morning and welcome to NPR. A quick trigger warning. If you're a human with emotions, you may want to avoid listening to this program. Today on the show, we talk about racism. Again. We interview Robin DiAngelo, a white woman who makes $50,000 a pop telling massive corporations over Zoom that their white employees are the devil. We then ask you, the listener, are you racist? If you say yes, you obviously are. If you say no, you're in denial, which means you obviously are. You then get even more defensive because you truly claim to not be racist, so that when we accuse you of being racist over and over, that's really annoying and kind of crazy. But the more defensive you get, the more we call you racist. The more we call you racist, the more defensive you get. Until you're so infuriated from being called racist based on just the color of your skin, which is actually the definition of racism, that, believe it or not, you may over time become a little racist. Making us right the whole time. And just a quick reminder, this is a publicly funded show, so all of you racists are actually paying for it. And coming up on the show, should your animals also be vaccinated? We'll be right back. Racist. Okay, you racists. Thanks for watching. And just a reminder, if you want to support me on Patreon, that's patreon.com/TylerTalks, you get an extra video once a week. A video nobody else sees. Because you're privileged. Probably because you're white and you can afford it. Anyways, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you next week. Do something nice for yourselves.